Hi, I'm having another good day, so I wanted to record a video, especially this one. It's one I've been putting off because it's so personal, but it's absolutely time. So the Lord's really laid it on my heart that I need to open up more about the things I've been going through and just share what it's been like and, have an opportunity for people to see what God has done in my life. And if I'm not able to tell you now, then you may not be able to see the full glory of what God is about to do for me. So I have to humble myself and be vulnerable and just tell you about this because it's what He's asking me to do. It's just hard, so bear with me. The first thing I want to talk about is I've been going through dealing with two rare neurological conditions. The first one is the one I'll talk about first. It's occipital neuralgia. So here's this for your Googling pleasure. It's complicated, so I made sure to write it out. Occipital neuralgia. This one it controls, the occipital nerve is in the back of your head, and it controls the function. It sends nerve signals and pain signals to your brain from your nerve back here that controls your scalp feeling, your eyes, a lot of your internal nerves in here, and it comes off of your spine. It's not just, it's sort of located in the back part of your head, but it's not part of your head, it's part of your spine, a cluster of nerves there. And for me, that has been excruciating, shooting electrical pain. It shoots from the back all the way forward. It stops about my crown and shoots around as well. I have my lesser occipital nerve. We all have a lesser nerve that's kind of a smaller one off to the side, and it's usually about over here down to your behind your ear a little bit. And for me, mine gets triggered really easily, and it can cause nausea and vomiting, and then it can shoot around, and which leads me to my next. It can flare up my secondary condition, which is called trigeminal neuralgia. Now, this one also is a rare neurological condition. It is a lot more painful some of the time, and it controls your trigeminal nerve. Well, here we go. Artist rendering. This is my little artistic version of kind of what I've been going through. But you can see the back of your head here, where your neck is. Your trigeminal nerve is located more inside, and then your occipital nerve is more located in your neck and here. So they're about this far apart. So that tells me, and has told my doctors, that the occipital neuralgia has caused the trigeminal neuralgia. I'll explain why in a moment. The third condition I'm going to talk to you about today that I've been experiencing is post-traumatic stress disorder. This is one that's really a biggie and a tough one for me to talk about, but I have to, because it's where some of the biggest changes are about to take place and where some of the most exciting things for me are going to happen. So I have to be ready to be honest about my journey and what it's really like. So here we go. Anyway, I'll get into it all, but my PTSD has progressed enough to start causing seizures over the last 2 years. So it's an area where I am excited to see the most change, probably. But because I've had it since childhood, and I did not know that until recently. But it makes sense looking back, of course. But knowing that I've had it since childhood, it's nice to know that I'm gonna get to have a solution, because I won't know what it feels like to be someone, like to be everyone else. I've always known that I felt differently than others, but I haven't been able to articulate why. So I'm really excited to share these changes with you that are coming. So now you're probably wondering where a lot of this comes from, so let me kind of get into that for you. I'm not going to break down like what each specific condition is alike for everyone or anything. I'm just going to get into how I've come about to experience these, and I'm not gonna. I've posted videos in the link in the little description area for occipital neuralgia, trigeminal neuralgia, and PTSD. There's some good videos that just kind of explain overall. And, you know, if you have any of the symptoms, I really encourage you to look into them, because occipital neuralgia is something that often gets misdiagnosed as migraines, and trigeminal neuralgia is something that often gets confused with TMJ as well. So there's a lot of different things that could be going on, and in my case, I was misdiagnosed for 23 years as migraines. So it's really important to pay attention to your symptoms. I encourage you to do that. Okay, in my case, I had a go-kart accident when I was 7 years old, and I was driving the go-kart alone. My mom had put my hair up, what we thought was really well. I remember going through it because I was raised Pentecostal and I had extremely long hair for a 7-year-old. And so my hair was past my butt. So we had to work hard at putting it up. And sorry, I get jittery a little bit. But we started, you know, they said I could ride it by myself, so it was my first time. And I started, I was really careful. I got going, and, you know, I know my mom was watching me, everything was going good, and I was doing good, so, you know, she was good. And she went inside, and I don't know what happened, if the wind shift or what, I'm not sure, but I never noticed that my hair fell out, and it was trailing behind me like a kite, and I never noticed. And the motor caught it, and my hair was never cut before, so it was uneven, and it came to a point in the middle. So it snagged some of the hairs, not all. The motor started wrapping up and catching some of the hairs, but not all of them. So, you know, it was like pulling, and it yanked me back, and with my little arms, I couldn't reach to the shut-off switch to turn it off. So I was screaming and flailing my arms, but I don't really remember that much about what happened after that. I just remember my mom running to me, and later I realized, she told me she thought I might be getting stung by bees or something from the window, but something just told her to go over and look, and, you know, she ran out and got to me and was able to get the motor shut off, but not before it ripped out big pieces of my scalp and hair. And that leads to a lot of scalp sensitivity, but also the conditions that we're talking about today, as well as some spots that hurt to the touch and will swell up like little knots. I've got 3 of them, and that's where the biggest parts of my scalp were ripped off. But it healed well and everything. It just left, you know, a lasting condition that was just, I started having headaches about 3 months later, and the doctors told my mom they were unrelated, and they believed that for 23 years. And I was pretty consistent in thinking that something else was wrong. And, you know, as a kid, when you're telling your parent that something's wrong like that, like I told my mom, I think I have cancer, or I'm gonna die. That's scary to hear as a parent, I know, and you take it seriously. And, you know, she took me to doctors, and we just kept hearing some people just have migraines, some kids just have headaches, and, you know, it got to be tiring, but it's nice to have solutions now, you know. But some of my childhood was tough. I suffered in that, where some of that trauma comes from the go-kart accident, but some of it as well comes from just having a tough childhood and suffering some abuse. And that's one of the big things that can lead to PTSD, even if you think you've processed it. For whatever reason, your body remembers, not your mind. Your brain can let it go, but your body stores the trauma and it stays with you. And so working on letting all of it work itself out, and have solutions, you know, through counseling. And eventually, another one I'll talk about, I'm really excited about. I keep saying that, sorry. A lot of that trauma too, from the PTSD, I think of a lot of that came also from, like, it was just compounded by things, by little traumas, car accidents, or loss, health issues, new health issues, fears, that come up. And I think a lot of that compounds together, and that's kind of what happened in my case. But about 2 years ago, so about 3 months after Joe and I got married, my pain just progressed to a point of becoming debilitating. I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't go to work. I was having to call in and, having to quit your job. And I had to let go of all my professional responsibilities, all my Sunday school classes and things I was doing, and the ways I felt like I was helping others. I had to let all of those responsibilities go. And I had to let everything go. And I couldn't commit to being anywhere at any given time because the condition became so unpredictable. I wouldn't know what my day would be like from one moment to the next even. The day would change drastically. I would be having a great day. It still does that. The conditions are just very unpredictable, and you can be having a great day and then boom, all of a sudden the wind hit your face wrong and it feels like somebody slapped you in the mouth. And it causes changes in your face and different swelling. The trigeminal does that, and a lot of the different pain that would flare up out of nowhere. That, I think, contributed a lot to my PTSD as well, because you would never know when the next pain's just going to flare up. And unfortunately, my case is similar to the bleeding woman in the Bible. She would go and spend money and all her money and see doctor after doctor, and she would only be worse and only get worse. And it wasn't until she touched the hem of the Lord's garment that she felt that healing, until she received that healing. And I feel like my case is very similar, even though I cannot physically touch the hem of the Lord's garment. He can touch me, and I know gradually my healing is coming. But I've been experiencing that. I can say that a lot of those changes have been for the better. It's forced me to take care of myself instead of trying to please everyone else. I remember times in my life where I would just run and go, and I was happy if everyone else was happy. But really, at the end of the day, I would be falling apart from pain, just curled up in a ball, wondering why I do that to myself. But so many of our experiences play a part in our behaviors and how we act. And unfortunately, it can impact even our health to the point we don't realize. In my case, to the point of having seizures, I really felt like I was managing things well and had managed a lot of my life experiences well. And I have mentally, but my body remembers it. My body responds. And so that's one of the things I've learned. It's interesting that your mind can be healing from something, but your body still remember it and be in a state of trauma or a state of flight or fight. And so I'll go ahead and say it now because I'm just so excited about it, because I've been talking about the PTSD so much. I am going to go to Chicago and get something called the stellate ganglion block. I'll say that again for the peeps in the back. The stellate ganglion block. Yay, yay. I'm so excited. Okay, so this bad boy is lovingly referred to as the God shot. It is something that it's just a simple shot in your neck, and it sort of, and I'm probably not explaining this in any scientific way, but the way I understand it in plain language would be that it restores your central nervous system to a place like before trauma, a level like everyone else. Your level, all your nerves are level. And it won't probably help with either of the other conditions. It could help with some pain, but for the most part, what people get this for is for the PTSD. And it's very it's very life-changing, and I can't wait to experience it. I haven't let myself get too excited, because it's you know, it's crazy to think about feeling differently on the inside than I do now. Crazy exciting. You know, I would have no more ringing in my ears, no more nightmares, no more just my body starts sweating and respond to memories of the trauma, just thinking about it, not even anywhere near experiencing it, just the thought of it, and my body responds. And so just the thought that I could have all of that and to have silence, no ringing, it would be the first time in, I guess, since I would know, since I can remember. Okay, no, I got off track talking about that because I just am so stinking excited about it. But okay, where was I? I was talking about, okay, sorry. The Lord's been talking to me about no longer pushing myself to please other people and just try to take care of myself. And that's what we've been doing, and Joe has taught me so much about doing that and not caring about what people think about you. I'm still working on that one, but he's really good at it. You know, the pain, it became more unpredictable because I got a nerve ablation, a radio frequency nerve ablation, and that really ramped up the pain. It was in May of 2020, Joe's birthday, May of 2020, and I was not put all the way to sleep at the beginning of the procedure, so I felt the metal rod go in, and that caused the worst pain I've ever known. I mean, it was the worst pain I've ever experienced, but that changed my PTSD. I think that increased it just exponentially, and has led, you know, to me just having those experiences often of nightmares and seizure-like experiences and things like that. And so this change, you know, I'm just so thankful that God is bringing this opportunity to us to get to go to Chicago. I was going to try to make a whole separate video about it, but I ran out of time and good days. So I'm sorry this video is long. I was trying to keep it short, and I just realized I've ran long. But let me just say that I've been experiencing some good treatments for occipital neuralgia, and we're going to keep that going. And I haven't had much luck on the trigeminal neuralgia front, but we're going to see some specialists out of state and see what we can do about that. And then as far as the PTSD, we're going to Chicago tomorrow. I know, we're going to leave early and try to beat the weather, but we're leaving Sunday, tomorrow, and the shot itself, it's not really a procedure, but I guess they call it that. It's a block. That's going to be on Wednesday, the 17th. So I will give you updates. If you stayed to the end, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry I ran long, guys. I've held it all in for so long, and I'm sorry. It's hard to talk about. And, you know, also having a lot of bad days together, it makes it hard to get it all out. But thank you so much for listening, and I'm going to have some more videos to come to tell you how it goes and what God does with it, because I expect to fully feel like a different person. So I can't wait to articulate for you what that means, especially if you have any PTSD symptoms at all, anything like that. I encourage you to please, please, please look into it, because it could really change your life. And, you know, if it changes mine, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. So y'all get ready. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.